thing I was the most proud of was our ability to execute, not have a lot of negative plays, penalties, missed assignments, putting hats on offense, the different blitzes and things they did, covering them on defense, keeping leverage on the ball, doing those types of things. Special teams, really solid job. So as far as the performance, well, we played well, won by a lot of points, but more importantly, we played well as far as the process of how you have to go about things. We missed assignments from communication, and they mixed fronts, brought blitzes on defense. Different. I mean, they were very challenging in the looks. So we had to do a lot of checks, a lot of different things with the quarterback, receiver. I mean, they did a really nice job defensively. Again, leveraged the ball, was physical, created turnover for points. Special teams was really good, so outstanding in that regard. And it was good to get back to not just win the game, but to play well in the game and do the things that we coach and what they play and what they want to do and how they do it, and getting back in that. And then we had a good week of practice last week. I said that we had a very good week of practice. So we'll need another good one this week. Extremely hard opponent. Going to play LSU. Very talented football team. Great, always have and always will. I mean, they always have players everywhere. Offensively, the back is very strong. Price is very strong. Makes you miss. Fighting through tackles. Kenner, the backup, is very strong, good player. Max threw for 300-some yards. He's having, I think he's 25, 26, whatever touchdown passes this year. Max Johnson doing a great job with them. The young receivers for them has really come on. Besh, BT, and 8, who's really can run. Those two guys made big plays last game for them. Offensive line is always really good. So offensively there, defensively they're playing. Since the break, Alabama beat them 20-14. They lost 16-13 in overtime to Arkansas, and they're getting 24-4. They give up 20, 13, or 16, and that's in overtime, 13 in regulation, and 14 points in the last 3 games. Playing outstanding defense. The inside guys, big, strong, physical in what they do and how they do it. As I say, I mean, 330, 340-pound guys, strong as heck. I mean, Glenn Logan and Neil Farrell both do a great job. BJ on number 8 coming off the edge, man, he can rush. There's times even when he went against Big Neil at Alabama, he'd slip and drop that shoulder, and Neil didn't even touch him and turned the corner, didn't have to go around him, went by him. I mean, did things in the pass rush game that are just really, really outstanding. 53 does a great job. Sony, and then the 2 backers, really natural. Damon Clark and Baskerville move really well, fit things well. Dwight McLaughlin at corner, we knew him, we recruited him. Evans, Jay Ward, who's on visits here. Those guys are all really good. They can play, they can cover, they can tackle. Defense is doing an outstanding job. Field goal kicker is outstanding. Hit one last week, 56. It hit the net. Could have went for another 10. They think he's hit, I don't know how many, over 50, 6 or 8 in his career. And I think it was his first. He missed one last week. It was his first miss of the year. So his range, the punter can really kick it. They can always. The returner, 33, is great, athletic. I remember recruiting him out of high school from Kentwood. Can fly. So listen, we got to play really well. They play really well there. Last game of the year, they're going to play well. Hopefully we'll go over and play well. We need to continue to play well, keep achieving a lot of things we got to play for as far as finishing this season out and having a great year. And hopefully need a great week of practice to be able to do it. And like I said, I know it's going to be his last game, so it'll be very emotional. They'll be ready to play. They'll have them ready to play. And like I say, it's going to be a great challenge for us. Questions?
Down front, Brent.
Is Leon O'Neal an ideal example of someone who can benefit? So, he talked about how Texas A&M and being part of this program has changed him. And I know you talked about it over the summer as well, but how you've seen him change and grow.
Yeah, I mean, you have to allow yourself. I mean, you say, growth is optional. It's a choice how you want to grow. And he bought in and made the choice that he wanted to change and be a part of something bigger than him and do the things he had to do. And it's been really fun to watch him grow into be a man. And the things he does and how he looks at things now. And, you feel comfortable. And hopefully when he goes out in the real world, which he, going to be next year, which I'm sure I feel he's going to do a great job. He's a great person. He's got a great attitude. He's got a great demeanor, very smart, talented, ball, all those types of things. But just in life in general, I'm very proud of how he's doing things and proud for him and of him.
2015, we were all up in that press box at LSU for the A&M game at night, and it was a pretty wild setting, and we were writing that Jimbo Fisher was going to be replacing Les Miles. So my question is, what ultimately, why did you decide to go ahead and stay where you were at that time?
There was never a job offered to me then. There was never a situation offered to me then, and wasn't there. So there was no decision to be made. I was at Florida State, and we were very happy and winning a lot of football games. That's simple.
Go front left, Zach, and then Travis. Jimbo, if I remember correctly, when you first arrived here, you were asked about this rivalry, and you said it might not necessarily be a rivalry yet just because of the wins and losses have been so one-sided. So do you feel like what you guys have accomplished since you've gotten here has created a rivalry?
Well, I can say whether it's a rivalry or whatever, they're important games because they're SEC West games. They're all the West games. I call them double whammies. I mean, those are guys, they're league games and they're interdivisional games, and they're all rivalries to me. But, you're so close, proximity, and you battle. We recruit Louisiana, they recruit Texas, like everybody does, but they're very close and have always had great success here. So I think that kind of makes it that way. And they're a great team. They're one of the teams we're going to have to contend with year in, year out because they always have great players.
And if I can follow up, if and when the SEC does do some realignment, would you like this to be an annual game that you play?
Listen, and I'll answer that question when I see what they put out there. I like playing a lot of the guys we already have. The tendency is because that's your habit of who you're playing and what you're doing and things that happen. You like the LSU, you want to play Alabama. Those are great games, but you'll have to wait and see what the interdynamic structure is. But this is always a great game because of how good they are. And hopefully how we're developing and the importance of this game. So it's always a great one to play, that's for sure.
Down front, Travis, and then Olin.
What's impressed you the most about Tyreek Chappelle and what he's been able to step in and do this season?
I think the consistency level and handling the load of practice and not letting the expectations override him, but just let his play happen and I think he's believed in the process of how he prepares, practices, and then he executes on the field and doesn't put that extra burden on himself, plays very mature, and then is out to go and execute and cover guys that are really good players. He's a very talented guy, but sometimes it's just getting used to that whole process of, man, I practiced, hey, I got that today, I got third down, I got red. The multiplicity of things and how you got to think, and then the types of body types you got to cover, big guys, short guys, little guys, in athletics. So, I think he has handled things extremely well.
It's one thing for a freshman to step up at the beginning of the season and be named a starter. Is there an added level of being impressive when they're the next man up?
Well, yeah, because sometimes you don't realize that. It's thrown up on you, and then now sometimes early that can be good, but then that wears on you after that. The joy, excitement, I want to play, and then am I sure I want to play? Well, he was sure he wanted to play, and the way he handled it, I think sometimes that's even tougher. Sometimes, believe it or not.
And then on film review, was Antonio Johnson's hit as impressive on film as it was in person?
Yeah, it was. Listen, he got clean off the edge, in the protection. And the thing I was the most proud of in the hit, not only did it cause the fumble when we were able to pick it up and score, but how he tackled the guy. He didn't get careless. He didn't try to show, but he made a clean football tackle. Put his shoulder in there, kept his head up, near leg, near shoulder, stepped on the guy's toes, hit on the rise, did all the things you got to do, and didn't try to headshot a guy, didn't hit the crown of his helmet. Stayed focused in the moment to allow the play to be as good as it was, and it was a very pretty tackle.
Go second row.
Good
Olin.
teaching reel.
A couple of things, Jimbo. First of all, I think I saw that Reuben Father just had his birthday. He was only 19. So
you can't look at his face and tell you that. I thought he was 17. I thought he just turned 17. That's what I call him, the baby face.
But gosh, I just want to. He's played 10 games as an 18-year-old.
Bryce Foster too.
Yeah, what is
Chappelle? All those guys are same age.
They're just 18.
They're 18, 19 years old. All those guys are in that same group. Wonder why I had headaches during the year. When you're sitting there and you talk about worries, and not just worries that they can't play, but those young guys. The load on those guys and the injuries that happened and the things that happened and the situations they got put in. But he has done an outstanding job. He is a tremendous human being. He really is. Reuben is very intelligent, not only athletic and long and all that, but very conscientious young man. Wants to do good, practices to do good. There's guys that make mistakes, and I always say this about when you're immature, when you're young, and you get yelled at, or and you feel bad. You feel bad because you got yelled at. It's not him. He feels bad because he let you down because if he didn't make a play or something. You know what I mean? And that's why he's such a good player. He's so conscientious and drives himself and pushes himself. And his parents are phenomenal people, and he is too, and he's a great talent.
Do you, support the idea that some teams are just not good road teams?
No, I don't know.
Why do you think some teams?
I think maturity sometimes, handling things, being able to, and also who you go play on the road. That matters too. You better forget about who's a road team. Figure out who you're playing on the road. That makes a difference. They're good games, tight games, big games. It's all part of it. Coach, like I say, what makes anything? What makes any stadium hard to play in? The players on the other team. The crowd has a lot to do with it. Why is the crowd all loud? Because the players are playing real good. That's all part of it. So you get good players, it makes it tough.
We'll go back behind the lights to the left, Tyler.
Coach, you already talked about, some of the games LSU has been in and some of those close losses. So knowing that it's very likely, this could be a very close game in the fourth quarter and on the road, what is this going to come down to? Just what's going to be key to escape Baton Rouge with that one?
Trust in the process and understand that this play is the next play you got to play, and playing every play and playing it to your fullest and winning your battle each and every time, not worrying about the scoreboard, worrying about what you have to do, not worrying about the result. If you worry about the result, bad things happen. You worry about making the play and blocking, tackling, catching, running, throwing, tackling, whatever it is, usually good things happen to you. And that's what it's going to get down to. Not feeling it's a tight game. It's hey, this is the next play. This is what I got to do. This is how I got to execute and go play.
We'll stay
Keeping
back,
your poise.
stay back behind the lights, Mike.
Coach, with this being Coach O's last game in Baton Rouge, you expect them to come out kind of on fire with a lot of intensity. How do you guys match that from the get-go?
Well, we got to match it. Hey, listen, you play in this league, you better match all your intensity. Listen, our opponent is not what we got to base this off of. It's based off ourselves. Again, our standards. Our opponents are faceless. No matter who we play, Prairie View, we play LSU, we play we play Alabama, you play Auburn, you play Georgia, whoever you play. Doesn't matter. It matters what we think and how we do things and to play to our standard. And you're going to have to listen. In this league, you have to be up. You have to be ready. Not only match intensity, but you got to match execution. You got to match in physicality. You got to match the toughness, all those things. And that's our standard we have to worry about. Listen, LSU is going to take LSU. Texas A&M needs to take care of Texas A&M.
Down front, Cole, and then to the left, Kay.
Jimbo, you spent 6 years in Baton Rouge. What do you remember about Tiger Stadium, especially night games there?
Dynamic atmosphere. Fun. It was fun to be on that same, to feel that environment, atmosphere. Of course, when we had good teams. So it was, like you say, it was crazy. We were really good. We were winning national championships. We were winning SEC championships. We were one of the top teams in the country. I think we won it. We finished top 4 or 5 years of the years I was there. Broke into, I think 10, maybe top 10, 5 or 6 of the years, I don't know, whatever it was. But, very electric, very fun, great people. And they love their Tigers. It's a heck of an atmosphere, man. It really is. It's a great place to play at your home and a tough one to play when you're on the road. And for 2 reasons. Again, not only the atmosphere there, but the players on the field. They have really good players.
And then any update on Chase? And then also, do you think that Moose and Euclid could have a little bit of a bigger role this week?
Yeah, hopefully. They play him well, practice him well, doing those things. Chase is still where he's at, status quo.
Go to the left, Kay, and then David Nuno.
Today, some of your players have expressed their excitement about you staying in A&M and continuing to build this program.
You sure?
That's before practice.
Ask him after practice. You caught him at a good time right before practice, didn't you? No.
Has that created a stronger, more loyal connection between you and your players?
Well, I think it is. There's a trust. You have to trust. Listen, people always say, all right, you got the players' career in your hands. Well, they got our career in our hands. It's a trust factor. This is a give and take. But you can understand, it's just like your parents. You love your parents, but somebody's got to be in charge. There's somebody that got to tell you what to do, how to do it. But also, after you get done chewing on their butt and getting on them or hugging, whatever it is on the field, telling them they're doing right, put your arm around them when they're walking off and say, this is why I did that. Understand this is the purpose of this. There's a bigger picture. And you have to, I'm coaching the guy you can be, not who you are. And you have to be pushed, prodded, and you have to learn to be uncomfortable to be a great player. Get comfortable being uncomfortable, being pushed, being challenged, being constantly good enough is never good enough. And learning to master something and learning to drive your mind to a point where you never take a play off. And there's somebody there, that's challenging, man. That's demanding, and that's hard. And I think from that standpoint of building that trust and love between each other, which is what I think it's about, it's doing that, but them also understanding everything you say is for their best interest. And then you tell them at the afterwards, you put your hand around them, and they can still be mad. And we can agree to disagree, but understand it's not coming from a bad place. And I think that's where that trust comes from. Hopefully they have it in me. I definitely have it in them, and we're developing each and every day.
Right side, David, and then to the left, Cease.
Jimbo, considering how good LSU is at stopping the run, especially recently, how important is the passing game going to be in this one to help open that up?
Balance. That's why you got to have balance. That's why I've always believed in balance. Just like we've had in a lot of games, when we didn't have as much balance, we got hurt, whether it was run or pass. And the ones you have balance, you usually have a lot of success. So you can't just go run, you can't just go throw it. They're too good. They got different blitz packages. Their guys up front can rush. They can play the run. They tackle well in space. They cover. So you're going to have to win your battles in both regards, run and pass, to be able to move the ball and score, because they haven't given up many points here lately. Playing really good.
To the left, Cease.
When you talk about the process, if I remember right, when you talk about the Ole Miss game, you guys said you had a good practice going in. So when you look at this week, do you change when you look back at that week for this week?
No, you don't change.
LSU?
No, you don't change. What you do is you approach when you get to the game and getting started early. It's not a lot of change. Ask why you did. Learn to get more juice early in the practice and understand the importance of it and getting the execution and emphasize it and then hope they can go do it. At the end of the day, you still got to go do it. How well you practice, you got to take it to the field, and hopefully you learn from those lessons and they have to learn about how their mindset is going in. I mean, not that it was bad, but maybe little tweaks in terms of the urgency to make that first play to the last one, jump on it.
Down front, Brent.
Any update on Anias and Chapman?
Yeah, they should be good. Should be dated. No nicks and knacks, but they should be good.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Furthest thing from your mind, but it's been 10 years since A&M and Texas played. Was that a rivalry that you were aware of growing up in West Virginia and as a young coach?
It was on Thanksgiving. They watched it on Thanksgiving Day. There wasn't a lot of games. Cowboys are always on Thanksgiving, and the Lions are always on Thanksgiving, and those games at night, that was always one of the college games that was always on, if I remember. Wasn't it right when
Yes,
originally was it was one of the original Thanksgiving days. I remember
Yes.
watching it. Bubba Bean and Johnny Lamb, Ham and Jam, and I remember all those names back then. Earl Campbell. That was names I remember. Off the top of my head. When they played and things like that. That was back in the 70s. I remember the late 70s, early 80s, right in through there.
A little after Elmendorf's time.
That a long time out of his time.
To the left, Justin.
Hey, Coach, Moose is over here. Moose has really made most of his opportunities when he's been in the ball game. What do you see from him when he gets in and just his
Played with great consistency, ran good routes, played well. I had a good week of practice. Hopefully have another one this week, and be counting on it. That's another weapon you'll be able to use. Doing well, played really well.
Go to the back, behind the lights, Mike.
Coach, how much progress have you seen from Jalen Jones from the start of the season to now?
I understand. Like I say, there's another guy. When you come back, played as a freshman, you have large expectations on yourself, and sometimes you put a lot of crazy pressures on yourself. And learning that, play each game, don't put pressures on yourself. I think he's really matured that way, and I think the second half of this season, I think he's played really, really good football. Really has. Mature, physical, great young man, leader on the team, great again, another raised very well, great family, and really wants to be coached and wants to be good and understands that.
All right. Anything else? All right. One more here. Zach, you'll wrap us up.
It's not a tough one, Coach. Just wondering, as far as Thanksgiving plans for the team and for yourself, you guys, of course, going on a road game, so it's a little bit different. I know Thursday's
We'll practice a
travel.
little earlier that day, and then right after practice, we'll have a team dinner. Like Wednesday night, when we do all that, all the position coaches will have all their position players and everything. They'll have them over for dinner, Thanksgiving dinner at their house, and do all that. And then Thursday, as a team, we'll eat collectively together. And then right after, we'll leave about a couple hours after that. May have another little family deal, and then we'll go get on the plane and go.
All right, Coach. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.